Shabbat Shalom. And actually, I want to say Chag Purim Sameach. Purim is coming up very, very soon. What is Purim? You can think of it as the Jewish Mardi Gras. It's the first delirious celebration that we have of the year in anticipation of spring, and leading up, of course, to the much more sober holiday of Passover. So Passover is not only sober in action, it's sober in preparation. And so Purim is the last big blowout before we have to start seriously considering our chametz situation, both inside and out, and confronting our inner Pharaoh and taking advantage of our inner Moses, all those serious spiritual considerations. Purim is much less serious, but at the same time there is a serious side to Purim. Why do we wear masks and why do we wear costumes on Purim? It has to do with the fact that the Purim story involves a lot of people hiding their identities. Mordechai and Esther, the two main good guys or good gals in the Purim story, you might remember that Mordechai instructs Esther to conceal her identity once she becomes part of the royal harem. Of course, then she's in a position to help when the Jews need help. But interesting that Mordechai and Esther have names that today we would consider the equivalent of Chris and Christopher. They were highly assimilated in their society, and it's interesting that Esther becomes part of the king's harem with scarcely a raised eyebrow. It seems to be part of what's normal for that time and place. So maybe we shouldn't get so excited about interfaith marriage in our time and place. So, God says in the book of Deuteronomy something very interesting. He says, Haster aster et panai, I will surely hide my face from a generation of sinners, basically, in context. And you could say that the book of Esther is also a case of Haster astir et panai. God is not mentioned even one time in the book of Esther. Everything that goes on in the story is actually seemingly absent of God, and yet at the same time, one could say that the miracle of Purim was arranged from above, God mysteriously and hiddenly pulling the strings of that divine drama. So today we have a similar problem, or challenge I should say. We are also highly assimilated, like Mordechai and Esther were. We also are ambitious about advancing in our society, as Mordechai and Esther were. Many of us have to conceal, to some extent or other, our Jewish identities, as Mordechai and Esther did. And also, we're faced with that same problem of haster astir et panai, that God is very hidden from us as a generation, as a civilization. Most of us are not very aware of God these days. Most of us never even say the word out loud, except maybe when we get exasperated. So, what is this about the hiddenness of God? There's actually two levels of hiding. One is that God is hidden, which is normal. God is hidden, not obvious in creation unless you're willing to look. But then, haster astir et panai is a double hiddenness. God actually can hide the fact that he's hiding. And I think that we're in that situation today. God hides the fact that he's hiding. And if God is hiding the fact that he's hiding, then God ceases to be an issue for most people, because we're not even looking anymore. We're not seeking anymore. We're not even aware of that possibility. So, like Mordechai and Esther, we are in a very, very interesting situation filled with challenges. They met their challenge in their time, and may we meet our challenge in our time. Here's wishing you again a Shabbat Shalom and a Chag Purim Sameach.